Welcome to the Rainmaker Edge Perspective, your best destination podcast for the cutting-edge methods and strategies to take your business to the next level using the latest marketing technology. Brought to you by Rainmaker Reputation. Tune in and stay ahead of the curve with us.
All right, let's kick off another deep dive. Today, we're looking at, get this, Grubhub, and a pretty clever local marketing tactic they cooked up.
Grubhub, huh? Color me intrigued.
Yeah, right. So we're digging into this Street Fight article from December 12th, 2024. It's called Grubhub Uses Donuts to Entice Local Signups.
Donuts, eh? Sounds promising already.
Right, and that's what we're here to unpack for all you local business owners out there listening. How'd Grubhub use donuts to get more people signing up for their Amazon Prime partnership program? And more importantly, what can we learn from it?
Hit me with the details.
Well, right off the bat, this article throws a pretty vivid image at you. A giant inflatable donut, smack dab in the middle of downtown Chicago. Talk about attention grabbing, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, who doesn't love a good giant donut? It's fun, playful, definitely gets people stopping and looking, maybe snapping a few pictures. Smart move for sure.
Definitely. And they didn't just go with any donut. They teamed up with a local favorite, Stan's Donuts and Coffee.
Yeah.
Adds that extra touch of authenticity, don't you think?
For sure. Partnering with a local name like Stan's just makes it feel more genuine, more connected to the community.
And speaking of local, the article quotes Grubhub's VP of brand, Marty Kane, and she actually says they chose Chicago specifically because it's their hometown. Apparently, awareness about the Amazon Prime partnership was kind of low there, so they wanted to give it a boost.
Makes sense. You know, it's interesting how even a huge company like Grubhub still recognizes that hyper-local focus, right? Connecting with the community on a personal level, it matters.
Absolutely. So how about this? The article mentions that Grubhub was giving away pretty high-value gift cards at the event. And no surprise, it worked like a charm. Lots of engagement, people talking about it, all that good stuff.
Incentives always get people moving, right? But I think the bigger takeaway here is that it's not just about giving stuff away. It's about understanding your audience, knowing what they find valuable, what makes them tick.
Okay, but get this. They didn't just stop at the giant donut and gift cards. They had an LED truck driving around Chicago, promoting the event, social media ads, even roped in some influencers to create content. They went all in.
Wow, that's commitment. I mean, a full-blown campaign like that might not be realistic for every business, but the idea behind it, that's the gold. Integrating your online and offline efforts, that's where the magic happens.
I hear you. Now, they did mention running into a few bumps in the road. Apparently, they underestimated how much people love hot cocoa. And then there were some permitting issues they had to work through.
Yeah, that's a good reminder that even with the best planning, sometimes things go sideways. You got to be flexible, ready to adjust on the fly.
For sure. One thing that really jumped out at me was how they were using QR codes to get people signed up for the Amazon Prime deal right there at the event. Such a simple way to capture leads on the spot, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's all about making it easy and convenient. And speaking of capturing leads, it reminds me of how valuable a tool like Rainmaker Reputation AI CRM can be for local businesses. Imagine a system that not only captures those signups from a QR code, but also helps you manage all those new leads and nurture those relationships over time.
It's like having a digital assistant that takes care of all that for you.
Exactly. And speaking of staying in touch, the article really emphasized the importance of email signups. Apparently, Grubhub saw a 15% jump in signups after the event.
That's huge. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier about understanding your audience and giving them something they value, whether it's a discount, exclusive content, whatever. Having their email address allows you to stay top of mind.
Exactly. Building that relationship, keeping that connection alive, that's what keeps people coming back for more.
Couldn't agree more. And, you know, they actually shared some results in the article. Over 10,000 social media impressions and a 10% increase in app downloads. Pretty impressive for a single event, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It goes to show you don't need a massive budget to make a splash. Sometimes a well-executed creative event can be all it takes.
It's all about taking those core principles and figuring out how they fit your business, your community.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So I'm curious, what else can we learn from this Grubhub campaign? What other nuggets can we dig up and apply to our own marketing strategies?
Great question. You know, I'm particularly interested in how they tapped into the emotional side of food. How can we as local businesses do that? How do we make people feel something positive when they interact with our brand?
Now that's a deep dive worth taking. Let's get into it. Reading that article again, it really struck me how Grubhub played up that emotional connection people have with food.
Totally. Their VP of brand actually talks about how food creates an experience, especially when it involves like beloved local restaurants.
Exactly. They're smart to tie their brand to those positive emotions that people already associate with, going out to eat or ordering their favorite takeout.
And I mean, it's all part of their Delivery's Other Half campaign,
Yeah.
right? Making food delivery more accessible, more enjoyable through that partnership with Amazon Prime.
Right. They're not just selling a service, they're selling a feeling. The convenience, the satisfaction, the joy of good food, like those are powerful emotions to tap into.
It's a good reminder for all of us, right? What emotions are WE connecting to our brands?
Yeah.
How can we, as local businesses, make our customers feel something positive when they interact with us?
I think about my favorite local spots, and, it's often that personal touch, that sense of connection that makes them special. It goes beyond just a transaction.
For sure. Like when you walk into your go-to coffee shop and the barista already knows your order, that's brand loyalty built on like genuine human connection.
And you can build that same feeling online, too. Whether it's personalized emails, engaging social media content, or even just responding to customer inquiries thoughtfully, those small touches make a difference.
It's all about building relationships, just like Grubhub did with their donut event.
Speaking of relationships, that article also highlighted the importance of collaborating with other businesses. Like Grubhub teamed up with Stan's Donuts, getting access to their loyal customer base, and of course, those delicious donuts.
Totally a win-win.
Yeah.
Both brands get something out of it, the exposure, the positive association. It's great.
So if you're planning an event or promotion, think about potential collaborators. Maybe it's a complementary business in your area, a local charity, or even a social media influencer.
The key is finding a partner whose values align with yours and whose audience kind of overlaps with your target market.
Exactly. Leverage each other's strengths, reach a wider audience, everybody wins.
Okay, so the article mentions they were giving away those high-value gift cards as an incentive, and it got me thinking, what are some other creative incentive ideas that don't necessarily involve, like, giving away money or freebies?
That's a good one. Incentives don't always have to be monetary. Think about what your target audience truly values. Maybe it's exclusivity, like early access to a new product, or a behind-the-scenes look at how you do things.
Ooh, I like that. Or what about an opportunity to learn something new, like a workshop or a guest speaker event that's, related to your industry?
Exactly. You could even offer a personalized consultation or a custom-made product, something that feels unique and special to your customers.
The goal is to create that memorable experience, something that encourages people to stay engaged with your brand even after the event's over.
And remember, the article talked about how Grubhub actually measured the success of their event, tracking social engagement and signups for that Amazon Prime partnership. It's a good reminder that we need to be tracking our results too, seeing what's working and what's not.
Data's king, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, how do we know if our marketing efforts are actually paying off?
Totally agree. And luckily, there are tons of tools out there that can help you track things like website traffic, social media engagement, email open rates, the whole 9 yards. And speaking of which, it brings to mind Rainmaker Reputation AI CRM. Not only can it capture leads through those QR codes we talked about, but it can also give you valuable insights into customer behavior and how your campaigns are performing.
It's like having a marketing assistant constantly gathering data and helping you make better decisions.
Exactly.
So let's circle back to Grubhub for a sec. They really went all out with their campaign. The LED truck, the social media ads, the influencers. That had to cost a pretty penny, right?
Ooh, for sure. But remember, the principles behind their campaign, those can be applied on any scale. You don't need a huge budget to get people talking about your brand.
So true. Get creative with your online and offline marketing efforts. Maybe instead of an LED truck, you partner with a local bike messenger service to deliver flyers with a special offer. Or host a social media contest where the prize is a gift packet filled with your best-selling products.
Exactly. It's all about thinking outside the box, finding those unique ways to make your brand stand out in your community.
And speaking of unexpected twists, the article did mention that Grubhub ran into a few snags, like underestimating the demand for hot cocoa. Just goes to show, things don't always go according to plan.
That's why flexibility is so important. Have those backup plans in place. Be ready to pivot if you need to.
So thinking about events, what other challenges do you think local businesses might bump into?
Well, I think one of the biggest hurdles is just getting the word out there. You could have the most amazing event planned, but if nobody knows about it, it's not going to be a success.
You're telling me. Getting the word out, promoting it effectively, that's crucial. Social media is great for that, but don't forget about good old-fashioned flyers, posters, maybe even reaching out to local media.
Right. And then there's the whole logistics thing, securing permits, finding the right venue, coordinating with vendors. It can all get pretty time-consuming and honestly kind of stressful.
Yeah, for sure. I think it helps to have a really detailed checklist, a timeline to keep everything on track. And don't be afraid to delegate tasks, Ask for help from friends or colleagues. Two heads are better than one, right?
Absolutely. And then, of course, there's the budget. It's always a factor. You got to set realistic expectations and try to stick to them as much as possible.
Though you can get creative with it. Look for ways to save, maybe partner with other businesses, or utilize free resources like, social media.
Exactly. And remember, sometimes the most successful events aren't the ones that cost a fortune. Sometimes the simplest ideas are the ones that really resonate.
Totally agree. It's all about creating that experience that really connects with your audience and leaves them with a positive impression of your brand.
And if you can do that, you're on the right track to building lasting customer loyalty.
So as we wrap up, what's your final thought for our listeners today? What's the one thing you really want them to take away from this whole deep dive into Grubhub's marketing strategy?
I'd say the key takeaway is this. Don't underestimate the power of local. Even in today's digital world, those real-world connections, they still matter.
For sure. And remember, you don't need a giant inflatable donut to make a big impact. With a little creativity, a little strategic thinking, even small businesses can create marketing magic right in their own communities.
Think about it this way. You're not just competing with other businesses in your town. You're competing with all the distractions of the modern world.
Right. Everyone's attention is being pulled in a million different directions. So how do you break through that noise and make your brand stand out?
Well, Grubhub gave us a pretty good example. Create something fun, engaging, something that brings people together around a shared experience. In their case, it was donuts.
And it worked. They took something simple and turned it into this memorable event that got people talking.
Exactly. And that's what it's all about, generating buzz, creating positive associations, building relationships.
And the fact that, the article mentioned Grubhub's planning to take this whole thing to other cities, well, that tells me they're seeing real results from this strategy.
Yeah, why not, right?
Yeah.
If it's working in Chicago, it's worth trying elsewhere. It really speaks to the power of that hyper-local approach.
Okay, so let's bring it all home for our listeners.
Yeah.
What are some actionable steps they can take to apply these ideas to their own businesses?
First, I'd say really take some time to understand what makes your community unique. What are those local events, traditions, even just favorite hangout spots that you can tap into?
Right. Find those authentic connections that will resonate with your audience.
Next, think about what you can offer that's truly valuable to your customers. It doesn't have to be a discount or a giveaway. It could be an experience, a learning opportunity, or even just a chance to connect with you and your team on a more personal level.
It's about creating that feel-good factor that will make people want to keep coming back.
And lastly, don't forget about the power of collaboration. Look for opportunities to partner with other businesses, charities, or even influencers in your community. You can leverage each other's strengths and reach a much wider audience.
Great advice. And remember, even small businesses can have a big impact. Just get creative, be strategic, and don't be afraid to experiment and see what works for you.
Absolutely. And most importantly, have fun with it. If you're not enjoying yourself, it'll show, and your customers will pick up on that.
So true. All right, that wraps up our deep dive into Grubhub's donut-powered marketing strategy. Hopefully you found it insightful and, got those creative juices flowing.
And remember, the next time you see a giant inflatable donut, think about the marketing masterminds behind it.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Rainmaker's Edge Perspective. We hope you gained valuable insights and feel inspired to tackle the friction in your business with smart marketing tech. Remember, leveraging tech with the right strategy can give you that edge you are seeking. Before we finish, a word from our sponsor. If you are ready to take your business to the next level, Rainmaker Reputation AI CRM offers a powerful CRM solution tailored for entrepreneurs just like you. Say goodbye to the manual drudgery and hello to the freedom to focus on what moves your bottom line. Visit Rainmaker Reputation. That's rainmakerreputation.com. Until next time, stay on the Rainmaker's Edge.